I'm going to start out with a few different things, and I'm going to read a little bit of what Jody had to say, because I'm just, you know, when you see love and you know love is there, it's time to bring it out and show it. And that's who Jim and Jody are. They're just this divine love, and that's how I see them. Anyway, I'm going to start out with during this week, I was thinking, well, what would Ernest say about Easter? What's his take on Easter? And through about 11 pages, I came down to like one sentence. I love Ernest Holmes. And basically what it came down to, and that's the reason I asked you to raise your hand if you were going through stuff or have been going through something for a long time, and it really seems frustrating at some point, is that as we go through stuff sometimes, more difficult stuff than we think we can handle, the story of resurrection is about believing no matter what it looks like, we will survive and thrive as long as we keep moving forward. That's God's promise. God's promise actually is, behold, I make all things new. So we have to, as humans, I hate the idea that we have to suffer. Anybody like doing that lately? No, it's terrible. It's not fun. But as humans, we, as Candace was saying, we're on a journey. We're on a journey. And the story is about Jim and Jody. I don't know if you know that I married them. It was one of the most fun weddings I've ever been to. I mean, they danced to the altar. It was really incredible. And they had on these outfits, and they brought their family with them and their friends with them. They all danced to the altar. It was absolutely beautiful. And the place was packed. I mean, just packed. It had great food and on and on. But Jim, I guess over the years, has thought, I would really like to walk the Camino. Really like to walk the Camino. And so he made a decision. I don't know when that was, but I'm going to paraphrase and make an assumption. It was about a month ago. I'm going to do this. So he decided he was going to walk the Camino, and preparing, getting all that stuff done. Now Jody said, honey, go ahead, but I ain't coming. I'm not coming. You can go do your dream, but I will support you in doing that. Anyway, he was about ready to go. I think it was, what'd she say? Days before he was supposed to leave, he ended up in the ER. Yeah. And of course, Jody had been praying that maybe something might change, but, you know, it didn't. Anyway, he was experiencing some difficulty, and they thought maybe it was an appendix attack. Well, it turns out that he was fine, and even though Jody wanted him not to go, really, don't tell him that, Jody. Anyway, he found out that he was going to be okay, and that he was like excited he was going to get to go. So he decided that he was going to go, and then he departed. Now, let me tell you a few things here. The love part that I thought was just so beautiful. It says, we've only been together for 7 years and have barely been apart a few nights since our first date. He is the first healthy, satisfying, loving, compatible, romantic, respectful, intimate relationship I've ever had, and absolutely love our life together. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
It's sweet. Yay. Yeah. And so you have two things going on here. You have this love of her life is leaving to go, and they have not been apart. And you have Jim on the other side saying, I'm ready to go. I'm going to walk the Camino. I'm going to do this. So you have two people madly in love, but living their own lives. Anyway, and Jody writes this. She's a very good writer, so I like to read what she says. She says, once he had departed, I proceeded to focus on as much good as I could find from his absence. The bed was easier to make. Isn't that sweet? It's so sweet. I got 2 meals out of whatever I cooked. Leftovers and iced coffee was nice to have in the fridge. I found it very difficult to find joy in his absence and contemplate the spiritual pilgrimage I was having at home. Interesting. I reveled in gratitude for the comfort of life, a soft bed, toilet that flushed. Imagine he's on the other side. Water out of the faucet, lights, heat, and while missing his physical presence. I especially appreciated our intimate communications, mostly by text, noting how cool it was to be flying our electric car and talk. Another she had a brand new car. Hands-free, texting by voice to my husband in Portugal. It's the stuff sci-fi years ago was made of. Technology has made a physical reality of the spiritual reality, that we are all connected instantaneously across space and time. Pretty cool. And then her last comment was, I was surrounded by 4 warm, snuggling cats, big white dog, and outside the chickens, guinea fowl, emu needed my caretaking. And I got to start facilitating an CSL certified class with a group of 5 fascinating people. Last but not least, it gave me lots of material to draw for this talk. So the way this continues to move is that after 4 days, our beloved Jim says, I need to come home. I need to come home. This is not going to work. And he wasn't feeling well. And so, in fact, that was 2 weeks ago, I think. 2 weeks ago, yeah. Because Jody and I were talking about it in the sense of, well, I hope he's okay, And so she and I left the church late, and she left after me and was still on the phone talking to him about this. So they had gotten, thank God they had gotten insurance on this, but he had to go to a doctor to get that assessed so that they could be reimbursed. Anyway, the short of it is that he came home. And then I think he had some... Jody, you crying up there? She looks like she's crying. Anyway, he came home, and so the two were reunited, and he's okay. Everything's fine. I think he had to go to the doctor for something else, but he's okay. Ernest Holmes says this: we are all powerful creative beings, and it is therefore necessary that we should know that we are, as well as somehow get it across to everyone else that they are too. You're all creative. You're extremely creative. And as a religious scientist, you don't just look at something and go, oh, this is kind of a neat little paperclip. You go, this is a paperclip, and then I can do this with it, and I can make it hold something up. Or I can maybe do this and make it a barrette. You are very creative in the sense that you take things and you go farther with it. You don't stop just at, this is a paperclip. The same goes for our lives. We are all very creative. And the thing I think that holds us back is that what we end up doing is not doing anything. Instead of saying, no, I have a question here. I need to ask that question. And when I ask that question is then going to set me free to decide what I'm going to do, one way or the other. I ask a lot of questions. I ask more questions today than I've ever asked in my entire life, because I want to know that which everybody else wants to know. And therefore, what happens is we all kind of go, oh, okay. Most of you know that I've done my dissertation and I've done a test, and I had somebody read it and they were like, oh, that's pretty good. So I guess I'll pass. Yay. We're
praying for you.
Me too. I'm praying too. But the process of doing this, that's why I ask, is there something that keeps lingering out there? I'm always fascinated by how God works in my life, because it's been really quiet the last 3-4 months in business. I have another job that I work, and I love the job. I love everything I do. But it's been really quiet, and part of me was like, well, I'm not focused there. Is it going to be like that forever? And what I know, and most practitioners know this, is that when we decide that we're going to take a break, we're going to focus on God, everything else works out anyway. It just keeps working. So guess what? I completed this and I got busier and busy this week. But I know that as I trust that divine operating in my life, I know that I'm okay. I have to know that.
Sorry.
That's okay. Are you still hungry? There's food over there. Go ahead. Oh, okay. But see, Science Mind teaches us not what to think, but how to think. It gives us a way to move forward. It's interesting, over the years, I've met many, many people who have gone through either really, really tough times, or they've had someone pass away, and they've really had a hard time. Obviously, when anybody passes away, we have our time. But they come back and they say, if it weren't for Science of Mind, I would not have made it this far, this easily. Because they realize the benefit of the divine. So one of the questions, and I'll just throw these two questions at you in this exam is, I don't want that one, I want another one. Oh, well, let's see. Where's that? Clean. I got something mixed up here. It says, what does it mean for you when you hear the term, know the truth and truth will set you free? What does it mean to you? It means that you continue to move forward and forward and forward, knowing that as you identify the truth, no matter what it is in your life now, or like Jim on his trip, he finally went, you know what? This isn't really what I need to be. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. What it means is it set him free to come back home and be with his beloved. Jody. To make changes, to do something different. And that's okay. I think that we get caught up in, I said I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to get it done. And then we condemn ourselves because we didn't do it. He went there. He did it. He completed the adventure. And that's all that matters. And now he's home and they're together and the two lovers are at home. It's very sweet. But I think it's important that we realize that when we realize that truth, in fact, in here I had a story about, I've sold to USC. I don't know if I told the story here or not, but it has to do with being set free. And I say that because I think that part of Jesus' resurrection is about us being set free to move on and not feeling bad about it. But anyway, I was selling something to USC. Have I told this story before? And it turned out that the company I was buying it from said, no, you can't do that anymore. I'm like, what? Now that was a quandary. And I was in the midst of that quandary with a buyer who didn't want to take sides. And so I thought, well, and there's a lot of politics going on with it. So I thought, I'm just going to go outside. And so I went outside. USC has a 3-story building, and then they have these little nooks where you can kind of go and be by yourself. So I went into one of those nooks, and I just started to pray because I didn't know how to handle this. Oh, we're working on things. Okay? It feels like the rain is coming, doesn't it? I didn't know how to handle this. I didn't know at all how to handle this because I was really, really upset that somebody would do what was happening at the moment. And so I closed my eyes and I said, I don't get this, I don't understand this, and I need you to reveal to me what it is I need to know right now, right this given moment. I don't have an extra 5 minutes here. Tell me what I need to know. And God said, let it go. Let it go, and something special will happen. It's a busy Easter here, lots of bunnies around. And said that I will take care of you, basically is what came down. And it came down immediately. And I felt this in my body like, oh, the truth has been spoken. When I got that, I went back up to the buyer and I said, let's move on. They can have it. I don't care about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's move on and do with the new company that I'm now representing.
Yeah, right.
Here's the end result, why I say this to you, because we need to believe in the truth and that it will set us free, is that today, as of today, right now, the company that didn't want me to sell is no longer in business. And the other company that I brought forward, I sold more than the other person had ever sold.
That's it.
And I don't sell. I don't sell a thing. I show, I present, I allow them to decide. It's not about me. It's about their decision. So this idea of our stuff being heavy is about we need to know that we can set ourselves free in the midst of the journey. I give you permission. Jesus gives you permission, if that's what you believe, and that's okay by me, to know that we are going to be guided all the way through every little part of it. We do not have to hide from this anymore. You have power. Do you realize how much power you have? Everybody? Yes? Shake your head, yes. You have lots of power here. And it's not about being mean. It's not about being vindictive. It's not about changing somebody. It's about just knowing that the Spirit has your back. Has your back because you do this work. And the work is showing up on Sunday, taking a class, volunteering, helping out. It's because you care. And because you're conscious. Not because you're unconscious. Because you have not, as Candace so profoundly said, have not fallen asleep. Now, if you feel like you're going to fall asleep and you can't handle it, that's when you call us. We have practitioners and ministers. We'll pray with you. We'll have sessions with you. We'll go on walks with you. I like to go on walks. We will talk about it until it gets out of your system. And then you move forward. You are never, ever stuck. So I'm going to read this one more time. And then we're going to bring up our beloved baby. I love hearing the voice of the baby. Just warming up. So we'll bring back TJ.
He's in the choir.
Yeah, there we go. So we go through our stuff. It's not fun. It's not fun. I don't particularly like it. But the promise is, and this is the promise I want you to take home, we will make it through it. We will always make it through it as we consciously live and walk a spiritual life. There's Mom. So as we consciously live a spiritual life, we'll make it through. And not only will we make it through, we'll make it better. Because we're thinking that way. We're not thinking about the worst. We're thinking about, well, what's next? What's the next thing we need to bring forward? So I'm just excited you're here. Thank you, Jody, for letting me talk about you. Yay. And I know that today's going to be a great day. And you know what? The rain was there. It was like really hard. And now it's sunny. So it's a good time to stop and bring you back, TJ. All right.